if you're wanting to see an item, or if you see an item that you're wanting to procure, in other words, you see an item that you're interested in, maybe you want to find out a little bit more about it, maybe you want to just go ahead and pull the trigger on it, because a lot of these are going to be last in stock opportunities, then the way you're going to do that, and if it hasn't changed, now sometimes we make little fixes around the edges, but for everybody, whether you're watching on YouTube, even TikTok, you're going to put in this comment section right here, it should be right below me, and most of you are probably seeing it right there. Write a comment, and feel free to do that throughout the show if you have any questions or if I go too fast, too slow on something. But what I want you to do is put in the number. Now, the first item will be shop 1, for example. And we're going to start out with what is my favorite gemstone. So that's going to be shop 1. The second item, presumably, shop 2, unless we state otherwise. You put it in the comment section. You click on that, and then it should redirect you to our website where you're going to find out all the information, most of which I give you throughout the course of presenting an item. So I think that's about it, except to say that if you're watching on our friends on TikTok, which we have still, our friends on TikTok, I know we have a lot of people who watch on TikTok in and out. For you guys, it's going to be a little bit different. Our wonderful producer, Mr. DJ, is going to send you the what's it called, a SKU number. It's about a 7 or 8 digit number. You just copy that number, go to shoplc.com, and put in the search bar that SKU number. It'll pop right up, whatever item it is you're interested in. So just send, but do the same protocol as our friends with Facebook, Instagram, and everybody else, YouTube. Just put shop 1, shop 2, depending on the item. It'll be shop, and that's all one word. Shop, whatever, shop 1, and just the number 1, right? Uh-huh. Yeah, and then shop the number 2, shop the number 3, so on and so forth. Pretty simple stuff. Speaking of stuff, are you guys ready to see some cool stuff? It's going to be a fun one. All right, first up, we've got this glorious blue gemstone. Now, this is probably one of my favorite gemstones. I vacillate a little bit. I said on the original bio that we had, we just kind of got new revamped bios and everything, but I said on my original bio, I think my favorite gemstone is blue zircon. And then I said, sometimes it's sphalerite, sometimes it's fiend, sometimes it's tanzanite, maybe it's indecisionite. As far as I know, indecisionite is not a real gemstone, but this most certainly is, and this is one of the most beautiful blue gemstones you're ever going to see. It is, it's just like the Caribbean water blue. You've also got what's a doubly refractive gemstone. Zircon. You'll often hear me say, whenever we talk about an item that's got white zircon in it, if we're selling like maybe an item that's in silver or it's got vermeil or something, sometimes they'll do moissanite, sometimes they'll do zircon, sometimes they'll do diamonds. But the reason why zircon, I always hesitate to say that zircon is not zirconia because it sounds so similar, right? But blue zircon, this material is absolutely dynamite. This is a genuine gemstone. It's doubly refractive. So what happens is when the light goes in, it's going to split into 2. It's going to give you all this light refraction. It's got a high refractive index that's going to come back at you. The high dispersion rate, a relatively durable gemstone. It's coming in about 7 on the most hardness scale, 7.5 in some cases. But this is a big boy. This is probably the biggest one that we have in our company. This is very, very rare to see one of this size. To get a carat, you can get a carat. It's not unheard of. But when we get up into this kind of size, we're at 5 carat 30. Okay. Now this is going to have diamonds. This is what we call AAA. What is that? That's just a simplified grading system. It's single A, double A, triple A, and a quad A. It doesn't go any higher. So, right? Single A through quad 4A. What that talks about is basically just a simplified grading system to talk about the color. That color is definitely a deep, rich hue when we talk about zircon. So you've got the AAA quality. What does that mean for you? Well, it means you're in probably the top 5 to 10 percentile of the finest material in the world. It is rare to begin with. But then you add to the fact that this one is, 5 carat 30. So we're probably looking at, let's scroll down just a hair. I just want to see the exact carat weight on our center stone for the people at home. And this will be in 10 karat white gold, by the way. Let's see. We got a 4 carat 32. That's massive. 4 karat 32. Now we talk about benchmarks a lot. Benchmark basically being, for most gemstones, it's like your benchmarks are going to be like a 1 karat, 2 karat, depending on the rarity of the gemstone, right? Not so much maybe with quartz, right? Except until you get to like 7+ carats, and then you start getting to where, it's going to be a lot more expensive. But when we're talking about this gemstone, it is extraordinarily rare to see anything over 2 carats. In my personal opinion, I've probably seen maybe, and I've been in this business probably almost 15 years, so I've probably seen maybe 100 blue zircons other than loose gemstones, which we used to sell at my former network, but and here at some amazing some amazing gemstones, but probably seen maybe 100 that are over out of thousands and thousands and thousands, and I've sold hundreds, if not thousands, of this material. And that's not to say that it's not rare. It is fantastic. Now we're doing this not at the what I think should probably be roughly, I would say, in the ballpark of easily probably $500 a carat once we get up to that 4 karat mark, just for the loose gemstone. Of course, you got the white gold. Most of you are familiar with what's been going on with gold over the last year, right? We've had a pretty big, what I've been calling on the TV side of things, a rocket ship to the moon with gold. It's kind of stalled out just a little bit, almost thankfully, because it was just going up and up and up and up. We thought we were going to have to start putting everything maybe in silver. But this is in 10 karat white gold. Okay, so there's an upgrade for that as well, because you are going to have to mix the other alloys in there and the other precious metals in there as well with the gold, because gold in its natural state is not going to be white. You've also got, 98 points of lab-grown diamonds. I like the fact that it's got the lab-growns for a couple reasons. Now, lab-growns, are they as valuable? Probably not. Probably about half to maybe a little bit less as valuable. But they are still very valuable, because lab-grown diamonds, we're talking about something that is chemically, optically, visibly, go down the line, and it's almost as good. It is as good. It's basically the same thing as a genuine earth mine diamond. There's several differences. Well, it doesn't take as long. Mother Nature takes billions of years, and for ones this size, you're probably looking at anywhere from 3 to 4 months. It's an expensive process, however, the CVD, that's chemical vapor deposition process. So where they heat and pressure and certain ingredients and basically carbon, right? And you're creating these. The good news about them is, though, you end up getting these really clean diamonds, because there's not all the impurities that Mother Nature just deposits over time, right? There's not going to be any as much of that. And if there is inclusions or are inclusions, they're going to be a lot more minimal. I have a difficult time finding as many inclusions. Like, let's say if they're SI, for example, slightly included. That means they're eye clean, whether we're talking about earth mined or lab grown. But the thing I love about them is you get good cuts almost every single time, so you get the maximum sparkle, and you get what is a 10 on the most hardened scale. You go down the line, same thing as a real diamond. The only difference again is that the time, the gestation process, as well as environmental, and there's not as much worry about, well, is this from a war-torn region or this or that. All that just kind of goes out the window. So it's a beautiful thing in terms of environmentally and in terms of just from a humanitarian standpoint. That said, we're doing this not for $4,000. We have it at $18.99. Now, there's something I didn't tell you about at the very beginning of the process, and this is shop one, okay? What I didn't tell you about at the beginning of this process was, well, we've got the code, and that's going to be live 25. So what I want you to do, and I got to say, we do not have many of these. This is going to be one of those cases. We didn't have that many to begin with because, A, it's just difficult to find this material in 4 carats plus, 432, I think. But we only have 3 of these. So, I'm going to say, if you love it, I would probably jump on it. It's an absolutely beautiful stone, not a window to be found. So what we're looking at here in terms of the 4 C's, that doesn't just apply to diamonds. What we're talking about here is the 4 C's, big time. All right, you have the color. That's that AAA color. You have the carat weight, big time. Probably the largest one we have in our entire inventory of thousands and thousands of gemstones and jewelry. All right. So you got the color, you got amazing cutting on there, not a window to be found. You've got the carat weight, and you've got the clarity most assuredly. So you've got those 4 C's in abundance. It checks every box. Beautiful double halo, quite slightly staggered in the diamonds, and it just amplifies it. This is borderline cocktail ring. I'm going to show it to you on my finger, not because I'm an attractive hand model, just because I want you to understand the scale of how big this is. Okay? I can't believe this fits my pinky. So we've got a 7.5, and could you scroll over a little bit? I'm assuming we got a 10. This has got to be a 10. It's checked out. So I'm going to say there is a 10 because I know that, or maybe a 9.5.
I have like 110 left.
Yeah, this is the 110, right?
Yeah, it must be.
It must be, yeah. It's checked out. So we've only got the 3 then. But I will say, folks, if you love it, take advantage of it. Absolutely gorgeous. One of the most beautiful blue gemstones. That's everyday wearability in solid 10 karat gold, $18.99. Now, let's do a little bit of math here. If you take 25% off of $18.99, which is the lower price, down from $13,999, I think that's slightly inflated. But I think you could very easily pay anywhere from $4,000 to probably $8,000, $9,000 for this. But you take 25% off of $18.99, and now we're talking about some serious savings. We're talking about a ring that's going to be under $1,500. We also have what's called budget pay. For those of you who are not familiar with budget pay, it's awesome. It's not a credit card. It's not a credit. There's no credit check. It's none of that. It's basically an opportunity for you to get this home for $380 minus 25% of whatever 380 is. So basically take about almost $100 off of that. So it's going to be like 200 and maybe 88, 288, something like that. So you can get this home for $288. All right? If you're not in love with it, if it's not everything that I say it is and more, or just things change, whatever the reason may be, it's none of my business. They might ask you if you return it, and you can. You have a 30-day window as long as you keep a tag on it. But they may ask, what's the reason for it? But other than that, there's no questions asked. It's just simple. Like, why? Well, you return it. But you have that opportunity. All right, so you risk very little. If you got the $380, you think this is something that you can afford over time. Basically, you're not going to pay any interest payments on that $380. You'll just have one payment of $380, and then you'll have 4 more after that in the next 4 months. Beautiful ring. There's 3. Probably going to see a sell-off on those, I would imagine, because that stone is collectible. I mean, look at this. Doubly refractive. Just absolutely breathtaking. So we're going to move on. That is a stunner. Now, if you love that, might I suggest to you.
Oh, Shauna says hi.
Hey, Shauna. I hadn't got my hair cut yet. I'm getting close, Shauna. It's hot. It's in that in-between stage. How are you? It's my sister from another mister. Glad you're watching, Shauna. Great to hear from you. And we'd love to hear from you guys, by the way. I hadn't done one of these in quite some time. I've been doing a little bit of TV stuff over there, and was actually on last night. Be on this Friday, shameless plug, from 6 to 8. Oh, wait, yeah, 6 to 8 p.m., and then from 11 p.m. To 2 a.m. Central Time. That'll be Friday and Saturday, I believe. But that, friends, is, well, it's the matching pendant. They were meant to be together. Yes, they were. Roughly the same. I mean, we're talking about, 5 karat 50. So you're looking at perhaps maybe just, no, they look at, well, probably give or take, I'd say maybe 15, 20 points. You're talking about the same size center stone, the companion piece, so to speak. Now, how many do we have of this one? Only 2. So we have 3 in the ring. That was the 10, and I believe the 2, maybe 2 9s and a 7, or a 7 and a 9. But I think the 9s are sold out because the 9s are sold out on the screen, but the 7s aren't featured here. Call the personal shopper. It's a good time to tell you about the personal shopper. This is something I didn't mention at the beginning of the show. That number, it's been a hot minute.
I should have it behind you.
888-835-2237. All the friends out there, whether you're watching on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, or TikTok, it does behoove you to have that number saved in your phone. Not the same number that we give you on the TV side of things, though. I will say that. It's totally different. It's exclusive to the live streams here. So let's all save that number in our phones. And if you're not seeing what you love yet, how are you not seeing what you love? But if you're not, eventually you will. And eventually you may need that number, because if something is sold out online, all hope is not necessarily lost. Obviously, we check one out sometimes, so you're not going to see that one reflected. And sometimes it is. It's kind of a strange mistress when it comes to that sort of thing. But sometimes it's checked out, and sometimes it'll say sold out, because when we're talking about so few, chances are this is definitely going to sell out, because there's only 2 of them. And folks, we're doing this. And that's going to be a 4 karat 43. So that one's a little bit larger. It's going to be minimum 4 karat 43, but roughly the same. The same exact profile. Same exact stone, just about. I mean, give or take, right? We're doing that for $16.99. Here's the good news. Now, is that chain going to be... And why does it say out of stock? Are these already sold out?
It might have.
You got to move quick, folks. There's probably still one left. The one that we have right here is checked out. So there was 2. One of them has found a home. Congratulations. I guess I need to go check on myself. Maybe so, Sean. Wait, Sean, you got skills? You got skills? Let me know. Okay, so I'm going to go out on a limb, not go out on a limb very much at all, and say that there's probably only 1 left now, because I'm seeing on the website that it's going to be sold out. Perfect opportunity to illustrate why we needed to save that number in our phone, right? So it's 888-835-2237. The personal shopper. They'll have access to this one that's checked out, so you'll be able to go ahead and grab this one. Again, folks, we're talking about a blue zircon, which is a rare gemstone to begin with. The Cambodian Perito Moreno. I don't know why I said it with this sort of Spanish roll in the R thing. Perito Moreno? I don't know. But you've got very, very beautiful material here, and this is unheard of to see a 4 karat plus. So you've got something very, very collectible. You've got one of the most beautiful blue gemstones in the world. It's like a diamond and a Santa Maria aquamarine had a love child, and that is it. You've got just beautiful, highly refractive. And if you grab both of these, scroll down, because I want to see if... is this coming with a chain, right?
Yes.
That's not a silver chain. 10 karat white gold, 18 inches. This is coming with a gold chain, ladies and gentlemen, that you could very easily pay probably, I don't know, $500-600 for at the retail level, probably more with the price of gold the way it is. It's not the thickest chain, but it's gonna hold up nicely. It'll be perfect. So you're getting the chain coming along with it, which is wild. We never do that. But in fact, we're phasing out that. We've got 2 reviews on this. They're both 5 stars. Okay, doubly refractive. Genuine gemstone, one of the most beautiful blue gemstones ever. And it really kind of, I mean, you're basically going to have something that really, I think, is going to give you that, almost that Hope Diamond look. Because zircon, as we said, during the first presentation with the ring, you're talking about something that is often a stunt double for your diamonds. Like the white zircon will be a stunt double for diamonds, and presumably blue for a blue diamond. And I've sold couple blue diamonds, but they're usually not quite this pretty. This is really special, folks. $16.99. You're going to take 25% off of that with the code LIVE25. Always remember that at the checkout. This one is going to say out of stock. It's shop 2, but you're going to need to call the personal shopper if you want to get it. There's only 1 left now, unfortunately, but whoever fastest fingers to call the personal shopper will win that one. So I'm going to assume there's probably only 2 left now in the ring as well, because I assume whoever got that 1 pendant probably got one of the 3 rings. So time is of the essence. Again, these are all in 10 karat. This is not overlay. Okay? And you're getting the chain with it. You're getting the gold chain with it. That's an unbelievable value there, folks. And you're getting it all for well under $16.99. The lowest we've ever done this for, I think, is going to be about $15. About $15.99. Those are the lowest this has ever been. So if you think about it, the 25% off of $16.99, I think that would come out to be a little bit less than $15.99. Don't quote me on that because I'm not a mathematician. Where's that calculator? Is it over here? Let me get that if I could, sir. because I'm very anxious to see what this final price will be. Let's see, 17 times $25. So yeah, $16.99 minus $4.25. Never going to see it lower, and there's one left. 2 in the ring. Ring's a little bit more, but not much. Fantastic opportunity. Actually, I think the ring was almost exact the same price, wasn't it? Oh, it was $18.99. So it's got like $200 more. Just a little bit more in the gold, I suppose, with that band. But got a nice bird cage style mounting, both of those. And that's going to be a nice look. So let me show you that right there, and then we'll move on. This is shop 2, but it doesn't matter. You got to call the personal shopper. If you get both of these, try to call the personal shopper and tell them you want to get you should be a 10% discount as well if you bundle the 2. There's that number, 888-835-2237. Yes? Can I lift my big head up now? Yes. Okay, so 888-835-2237. Absolutely fantastic. Shop 1, shop 2. You will need to tell them shop 1 or shop 2 when you call them, though. So shop 2 is the pendant. Shop 1 is that miraculous ring. Those are both massive 4-carat plus collectible. Oh, yes, indeed. Blue zircons. Killer stuff. All right, we're moving on. That's shop 1 and shop 2. Folks, we have Sleeping Beauty coming your way. We have, yesterday on the TV side of things, Angie and I had one of the most beautiful emerald rings that we sold out of. We had about 6 of them. It's probably the best one we have in the company, other than those that are in the Chairman's Vault collection, as far as in my personal opinion. All right, and I know the inventory fairly well. We've got an emerald here, which I think rivals that, is absolutely breathtaking. That's coming up in just a little bit. Now, emerald has a cousin stone. It is the peachy pink variety of the beryl family. Emerald is basically green beryl. You guys are pretty familiar with aquamarine, right? That's going to be your blue beryl. A seafaring stone, also your March birthstone. But in the early 20th century, there was a gentleman by the name of J.P. Morgan, who many of you may have heard of or may not have. He was basically one of the billionaires of the day. He was probably worth a couple $100 million, I'm sure, but the equivalent of what would be a billionaire today, that sort of billionaire class, folks. But he was also a big lover of gemstones. He was a big financier of Tiffany & Company and the efforts that they were putting forward towards finding and discovering these new gemstones. And so George Frederick Coons, who was a buyer for Tiffany & Company, of course, of Coonsite fame, if you're familiar with that particular gemstone. It's a beautiful variety of spodumene family. Well, he was tasked with finding a gemstone to name after J.P. Morgan, who was financing a lot of this gemstone discovery and really putting a lot of money into it, because he knew that was a good asset, because gemstones are valuable, and he wanted to have a little something for his legacy, which I'm sure he already had plenty for his legacy. Big banker, was a Chase Morgan, J.P. Morgan Chase Bank, right? So they did, and they found the peachy pink variety of the beryl family. I think the discovery was made in California, if I'm not mistaken. Don't quote me on that. You can do a little bit of homework yourself. But this material, folks, is more rare than its cousin stone, the aquamarine. It's more rare than its cousin stone, the emerald. Now, it can be seen in bigger carat weights. But then there was the Maripino mine. The Maripino mine is basically the equivalent of what the Santa Maria is. I always say this, it's my opinion, but it is to Morganite what Santa Maria was to aquamarine. In other words, Santa Maria had some of the deepest, richest blues that people really desire in, like that blue zircon kind of blue that we just talked about, right? And the Maripino mine gives you some of the richest, really nice pinks, really deep color. And before that, what we would see, not always, but what was more common was a little bit more washed out, a little bit more on the lighter side of the peachy pink. Now, this picture kind of illustrates what we're kind of used to seeing, but this, I think, is a little bit washed out, personal opinion. Nothing against the person who took the picture. It's probably just our monitor. But I don't think that does it justice. When you see this in person, that color is so deep and rich pink. That's what you get with the Maripino mine. And so it's a cut above a lot of the rest. Not always, but like with anything. Like Colombian emeralds are known as the best. They're not always the best. And you can get an ugly Colombian emerald, I'm sure. You can get an ugly Burmese ruby. I've seen, yeah. But by and large, when we talk about the Maripino mine, you're talking about the best of the best. You're talking about really deep, rich color. This is that. So this is the best of the best. You might own a morganite ring. You might have one of the washed out ones. They're still beautiful. But this is next level. Take a look. Now, it's AAA quality. So again, we're talking about the top 5 to 10 percentile when we talk about AAA. Doesn't get much better than that. Maybe a quad A. That's going to be in your top 1 percentile. But that is deep, rich, and absolutely beautiful. You got a massive stone there. Probably going to be somewhere in the neighborhood of about 7 carats plus, I would imagine. It's all in 14 karat gold. You have beautiful cutting, color, carat weight, clarity. Down the line again, you're getting all 4 C's on this. It's in 14 karat yellow gold, which is something we rarely see. But there's another thing here that's quite remarkable. Does anybody know what that is? Well, this is shop 3. I'm going to tell you. You've got a 6 karat 53. All right, that's number 1. That's on your center stone. You've got 64 points in the initial halo. Now, what is that sort of peachy orange gemstone surrounding it? And up here in the bale, flanking the east and the west, what is that? Padparasha sapphire. What is Padparasha sapphire? Well, that's the rarest color to find in a sapphire. It's the peachy orange, or I guess orangey pink or pinkish orange, depending. But you want just the ideal combination of the two of those, which you're getting in that surrounding. So again, it's got the orange, it's got the pink, much like morganite. So it's the perfect companion stone. It's got deep, deep color, so it just only amplifies that beautiful Maripino center stone, which is a big, massive 12 by 12 cushion there, right? Then you go down, scroll down just a hair, and then you've got diamonds. So these are going to be earth mine diamonds, I believe. Yeah, you've got colors. So you got 5 points and then 43 points in the diamonds. So total 43, so about almost just shy of 50 points in your surrounding diamonds. That's going to be your secondary halo. Notice there's a lot of design work going on here because it's not just this amazing halo of Padparasha sapphires, which complements that center stone so beautifully. You've got the secondary halo. Those are big baguettes at the east and west right there. They didn't have to do that. They could have just kept the rounds going around in that nice picture frame cushion halo, couldn't they? But they didn't. They decided to put those right there, really just kind of framing it up, giving it a little bit of extra emphasis. It's a beautiful design. And I love the fact that they did the 14 karat yellow gold, but then they did the white gold behind the diamonds, which is going to keep that continuity of those kind of going and sort of keep that nice white halo. Now, of course, behind it, you're going to see the yellow gold continue. But this one's a nice work of art here. Padparasha, diamonds, double little baguettes right there at the top, just kind of a keystone, tying it all together in a nice big wide bale. Of course, you want a nice wide bale for that big stone, right? And that, folks, is a beauty. These have gotten wildly expensive since I got in the business about almost 15 years ago. Scroll back up to the top if we could, please, sir. This one's going to be shop 3. We're doing it $14,449, $499. I don't think that's out of the realm of possibility, quite frankly. That's our estimated retail value. I think you could probably find it maybe for $10,000 if you're lucky. But what you couldn't find it for is $37.99. Not for this large of a stone. Now, large stones pretty common, or used to be fairly common with morganite. The crystal structure does grow bigger when you can actually find it. It is again more rare than the emeralds and the aquamarine. But lately, it has gotten wildly expensive, and especially what we were talking about before, which is that Maripino material from that Maripino mine. Then you add to that the Padparasha sapphire, one of the rarest and most expensive of all the sapphires. Typically it is. And now we're really cooking with gas. But here's the good news. It's $37.99. You're going to take 25% off of that. You're probably going to get this down just below, I would imagine, $3,000. And that center stone, folks, that is going to command a lot of money these days. That is a very, very big and deeply colored, beautiful pink Maripino. So it's probably going to end up coming around to 2000 in the high 2000s. But I got to tell you, you have less than $1,000 on your budget pay here. It's going to be $760 minus 25% using the code LIFE25. Absolutely gorgeous. For all intents and purposes, we're talking about a cocktail pendant, because if that's on your ring finger, that is most assuredly a cocktail ring. Are we going to split hairs there? I don't think so. And it's got all these beautiful A diamonds and of course the pod parachas. Now, make Hulk angry. We had 3 of these. We may still have one, because this one also is saying out of stock online. All hope is not lost. There's more than likely at least one, the one that I have currently here in my hands right now. We had 3 when the show started this morning. And that it wasn't sold out when we just got on, was it? Mm-hmm. So, congratulations. The 2 people probably went ahead and said yes. I don't blame you, but I suspect there's at least one left. I want you to call the personal shopper on this one as well. Yeah, just noticed that, because I would definitely notice it when we first got on. So I want to say there's one left, but I'm going to move on just because, in case they're all sold out, folks. You're going to have to move quickly today, because the deals we have are amazing and people are taking advantage. That's 888-835-2237. The reason why I asked you to call them is because they have access to, typically when we have one checked out, it does not show here, because they check them out usually before DJ prints these out, which has our count number on it. Okay, so that's if you're wondering what the inside baseball is on that, that's what that's all about. But this is an amazing opportunity. I hope whoever wants this last one can get it. This will be the one you get, and it's amazing. And they're all going to look like that. But it's just top. And look, here's the good news: you get it home. If you're not in love with it, you can always send it back. But I would definitely go out there and shop and see what the cost of pod parachas is, see what the cost of the actual Maripino material is, and go look and actually look at the gemstones and see the difference between this material and what is more of a traditional morganite, which is going to be a little bit more washed out. It's just not going to have that intensity of color. This is very, very nice. All right, we're going to move on. That's shop 3, ladies and gentlemen. And shifting gears here. You guys like some diamonds? I bet you do. Now, we've got one of the best designers in the world who we've been working with now for probably over 2 years, or just about 2 years, I would imagine. I worked with one of the gentlemen from this family back when I was at the Gym Shopping Network. You guys might remember Jewelry Treasures with Chris. A fine, then I guess younger man. He was probably about my age, maybe give or take 5 years, but definitely looked younger than me. He was, but really, really sharp family. The Madani brand and their family has been some of the finest designers in the world. I remember when I did a show with him, with one of the family members years ago, the stuff that we had, it is lights out, the best of the best. If you go to their website, the Madani website, I mean, there's good luck finding anything under $5,000. Usually it's hard to find anything under $10,000. They charge a lot because they can. They use the best materials. They use usually the finest Israeli cut diamonds that money can buy. Now this is going to be a natural white diamond. It's in a specialty cut too, which is really fantastic. And we're going to get a picture of it up behind me in just a moment. You've got this sort of, not Celtic cross, but just sort of a cross. We'll just call it a cross for all intents and purposes. But you've got that specialty cut too, keeping up with that theme. So you've got these 4 scalloped edges, which we'll call the cross. You got a slightly bow tie. It's ever so subtle. It's ever so subtle. It just kind of slightly goes out a little wider. I love this design. It's elegantly simplistic, but it's not simplistic, because that, ladies and gentlemen, is a very, very difficult cut for a lapidary to make, and to still make it look good. You've got this basically 4-leaf clover turned sideways here, right? Then you've got a halo, a primary halo, resting in. That's going to be I'm going to assume that's probably 18 karat rose gold, because rose gold looks fantastic with natural pink diamonds. Pink diamonds, of course, are hundreds, if not maybe in the thousands. I don't know the exact figure, but they are extraordinarily rare, far more rare than white diamonds, obviously. And of course, the majority of those in circulation. There's some, from South Africa and whatnot, but majority of the pink diamonds, obviously, Argyle Mine. Many of you may be familiar with that mine. That's one that closed in 2020. It was in Western Australia. In 2015, I think Ellendale Mine closed. That was more, I think, known for primarily for probably your yellows and maybe some of the orange diamonds, mostly. But the Argyle Mine was, I think, responsible for somewhere around 80% of the world's colored diamonds, which are now in circulation. That closed down. Their prices were already getting expensive in anticipation of that mine. It's kind of one of those things that goes to show you, whenever they have a prediction of a mine closing, I used to think it was just kind of pie in the sky, like, oh yeah, right. They're just trying to create demand. Usually when they predict a mine's going to close within a certain amount of time, it typically does, and that was the case. I remember they were predicting that it was going to be closed in about 4 or 5 years, back in 2015 or 2014, 2013, whenever I got kind of in the business, and I remember being like, yeah, right. And sure enough, it boarded up. It's just not cost effective. At a certain point, it becomes a law of diminishing returns. But I say all that to say, pink diamonds in this primary halo may not be a ton of them, but that is a beautiful touch, and those are all natural. So you've got natural earth mine diamonds, you've got a specialty fancy cut, which is very difficult to achieve. So I want to take back that elegantly simplistic, because there's nothing simplistic about this. It does have elegance, it does have timeless appeal, classic appeal, and folks, that's a VVS minimum G colored diamond right there in the center. It's almost 20 points, so 19 points for all intents and purposes. We'll just call it 20 points. So that's about a fifth of a diamond, or a fifth of a carat. And then in the pink diamonds, you're going to have, let's see, we got 30 points in the surrounding halo there. How much are we looking at in the pink, the initial halo? It's about 7 points minimum. And those are VVS pink diamonds, which is, when it comes to pink, any kind of colored diamonds, it's not quite as important, the clarity, but quite remarkable, though, that you do have VVS on average on those. All right? Now, we're going to be doing this, folks. This is going to be signed, designer. It's all, the rest of it's in platinum. So you got the 18 karat just in this little portion right here, right? Because it just complements the pink diamonds, really draws out the hue when you have the pink gold, right? So that's a beautiful touch. I love that. This is a heavy, heavy ring. Is it the biggest ring? No, it's a cocktail ring. It's a classy ring. It's obviously not meant for the dudes, but I want you to understand the size of it. I got really big hands. I always like to make that caveat, right? But it has a nice presence. And when you've got all that sparkle, and you've got really fantastic cutting, and of course you've got the VVS center stone, you're really talking about one of the finest diamonds in the world. Probably going to be an Israeli cut diamond. We're doing this, folks, not for $13,000 or for $10,000. We're doing it for $21.99. Now you're going to be able to take 25% off of that, so you're going to knock off at least a good $500 off of that $21.99. This is going to be below $2,000. It's in platinum primarily, except for that little bit of a halo that's holding the pink diamonds in that initial. But I love that contrast. I love that break in the continuity right here, because it just sort of it just highlights this really beautiful specialty cut, which I can imagine that would be quite the daunting task. Now, how many are we looking at? This is going to be shop 4, okay? And I will say we had 5. I hope maybe we still do. We will do free ring sizing. So if you go to the website, you're going to be able to pick from whatever size. But we've only got, or he's only promised to do at this price about 5 more. Okay? So we're down to the last in stock opportunities on this. You have a $440 budget pay, which basically means you're going to be able to knock off about $100 off of that. We'll call it $110 off of $440. You can get this home for $330. What's up? 440 minus 110. I'm just I got too much going on in the old noggin here, but you guys get the picture. Basically, $110 you're going to get off of the $440, which is the budget pay. So you can get this home for $300 and some change. Basically, under or right at $350, I think it would be. No, it'd be $330. Yeah, 110. Yeah, so $330 gets it home. You're not in love with it? Send it back. The heft of this platinum. Let's talk for real quick, and then we're going to move on. This is going to be shop 1, 2, 3, 4. This is going to be shop 4. All right, we've got 5 of them again. I want to talk to you for a second about platinum, because platinum has gone up significantly here in, I think, in the last month or so. It is having a moment. Platinum has been traditionally more expensive than gold. There's been a number of years, I think, because of the lack of catalytic converters. Even with, a lot of Teslas and a lot of electronic cars kind of coming into vogue, you're not having to have the catalytic converters, which used a lot of platinum. So that was kind of another thing that was sort of siphoning off the platinum. But platinum, folks, very dense metal, one of the strongest of the precious metals, one of the most beautiful precious white metals. In fact, a noble metal. That's to say that it doesn't tarnish easily. It doesn't oxidize much like silver does. Which is also what's a semi-noble metal, but it's also a precious metal as well. But it's dense. The atoms, the molecules are packed so tight that you get when you're holding. Just it doesn't look like the largest of rings, but it definitely has a presence because of all those beautiful blinding white and pink diamonds. But then it's got this it feels like for example, let's use this opal as an example, because I think this one's in white gold. Well, it might be in platinum too. Gosh, it's heavy. All right, I know this one's in white gold, so I'm going to use this as an example. Much larger stone here, right? Big carat weight. This is coming up. That's a beautiful London blue. This one's in 10 karat gold. It's not as dense. Presumably, they look like roughly the same size mounting. In fact, one would think that this one, because of that big box, has to have, more metal. In terms of gram weight, not the case. Because this one, they're so tightly packed. So very dense material, which is to say it's also very, very strong, which is another cool thing about it. That's the reason why you've seen all these, Oh, we're good. That's the reason why you see all these beautiful pieces from the Art Deco era have been so well preserved. Is because a lot of them, that was when platinum really came into its own. That's when you start to see a lot of the really nicer gemstones be put in platinum. Now, it's difficult to work with because it requires temperatures probably around 3,000 degrees Fahrenheit. But so really, there's only about 10% of metallurgists that are even qualified to even work with it. They probably have a number less than that, I would imagine, these days. But you get something very, very special. Very expensive metal to work with, but very, very fine. You put the best in the best. That's amazing, folks. Take advantage of that, folks. You're going to get that for less than $2,000. It is a wild, wild opportunity and a specialty cut. It's unlike almost any diamond ring you're ever going to own, I would imagine. All right, now, because that cut you don't see every day. Really cool. Really, really cool piece. And we'll do free ring sizing on it as well. So don't worry about the sizing. Now, the next item that we're going to show you, this is probably one of my favorite new discoveries as far as gemstones go. This is the Radiant Ember Garnet. Now, you'll see if you watch the TV side of things, you see our buddy Tony Denise, I think he's on he was on when I came in. He's probably not on right now, but he is very bullish on this gemstone, as am I, for different reasons. He's bullish on it, but I imagine for the same reasons. But mainly, he knows it's a beautiful gemstone. It's one of the most breathtaking discoveries of garnets ever made. Now, could you pull up the actual? It's actually a hybrid combo. Like there'll be certain garnets that are, say, pyrope. Like, for example, Anthill Garnet, I think is from the pyrope family. This is a pyrope. It's like umbata. It's the variety of garnet. It's a combo of pyrope and I think spessartine garnet. So what you get is this reddish, almost reddish orange, which results in this really beautiful purple. I think it's UM something, umbirote. I'm blanking on it just a little bit, but it's basically a hybrid of spessartite and I believe spessartite and definitely pyrope, if I'm not mistaken. So you get something that's unlike any other garnet color out there, which is really sensational. I hope you guys are able to see this, and it looks like the camera's kind of showing the color pretty good. I don't know if it's focusing too terribly well, but if it is focusing good, from what I can see, you're seeing that really amazing color. It's almost like a purplish. You'll see little flashes of almost like little orangey flashes in there. It is just one of the most dreamy colors and different from almost anything out there. The closest thing that I could compare it to, and I do often, is a really beautiful and wildly expensive 75 pointer that we had in one of the most beautiful purple sapphires I'd ever seen. That we sold a couple years back. It was like $3,000 because of the rarity and exclusivity, and the color of it was unlike almost any other sapphire I'd ever seen. But that's about the closest thing I can approximate to that amazing, rich color, folks. It is fantastic. You've got really nice clarity on this one, and it typically is not going to be seen inside carat weights much over a carat. There wasn't much of this material to begin with. We bought up as much as we possibly could. Tony and his team did, because they know they had something very, very rare on their hands. This is something that you can't find at the retail level. I don't know that you can't, but I would imagine you would have to search far and wide to be able to get one of these at the retail level. You're not going to see it probably at your neighborhood jeweler, for example, and like in your mall jewelers, your brick and mortars, because that's the kind of rarity we're talking about. Garnet, of course, is going to be your January birthstone. This one's going to be shop 5. Now, the good news is you're getting a 2 carat 36 center stone. All right, you've got diamonds, 34 points in the diamonds, so you're well over a 2 carat benchmark, which is wild to see. That's probably one of the largest ones I've ever seen, and because I haven't seen anything much over, I think the largest one I saw that we had here when we first got these in about a year ago, when we first started seeing it, and everybody just went gaga for it. Maybe had a 3 carat then, but we're not seeing any of that. He's getting any time we can get our hands on it. We're trying to get as much of it as we can. There just wasn't many. There wasn't much in terms of the pockets of discovery. Now, here's the bad news. We've got 7 or had 7 of these to go around. But here's the good news. This is all on 10 karat yellow gold with diamonds. Amazing halo there. I love what they did here with the baguettes at all 4 corners. Just kind of radiating outwards. So double halo, then double baguette, double baguette, double baguette, double baguette. Nice oval there. Color, cut, clarity. You get it all in this one as well. And we're doing it for $16.99. You're going to take 25% off of that with the code LIVE25. And you're going to get it for a song. That's 10 karat yellow gold, folks. Basically 25% off of the $16.99. I'm going to do 1699 times 0.25. I got to speed it up, don't I, brother?
A little bit.
Okay. 1699. So 424. You're going to take $424 off it minus 1699, and you're going to get this for $12.74. $12.74. For that nice, big, over 2 carat, beautiful center stone there in Radiant Ember Garnet, folks. That is collectible. That is rare. And let's be honest, rare doesn't always equal beautiful. In this case, it does. It does. It does. It's fantastic. Were you able to find the actual name? Was it like Umbyrite or something? Scroll down. It might actually be on this page here. That's gonna kill me if I don't remember that. Let's see. Okay. Keep scrolling down. Scroll down a little bit. And this is AAA quality too, by the way. There's no heat treatments whatsoever. Don't worry about it. I think it's called Umbyrite, but don't quote me 100% on that. It's like a U word. But just as a conversation piece, if most of you will be able to. You can just use the Google machine, probably find that. But it's really, really cool. It's a really rare gemstone, and it's absolutely beautiful. It's a classic mounting. Look at that. Can't go wrong. Now, if you love this, might I suggest? Now, I don't know if they're 100% meant to go together, but that's also going to be yeah. So this one's going to be shot. We've got 5 of these, all right? Right, 7, I think. 7, or we did have 7. maybe 8 if you count this one. I'm just going to give you an idea of the scale of it. Big hands, remember, but you get the picture. So absolutely gorgeous, classic style mounting in that gold too. This was 10 karat. All right, folks, steel at $12.74. Mounting like that's easily going to run you probably at least $12.74 because the price of gold is so high. With diamonds like that and a double halo, for sure. So you're getting it basically for the price of the mounting. That would be a dealer-to-dealer price, a really good price too, by the way. All right, now we are going to move on to I don't know if it's the exact matching pendant because this one's got a lot going on with it. But what I will say is, where are we at? Okay. This is a beauty, and it will go beautifully with that ring that we just got you. I want you to try to call the personal shopper. I doubt this one's going to have the bundling, the 10% bundle, just because it's not the exact same design. But it is something very, very special because you've got a AAA, again, in the center stone. I don't think this one's going to be quite as large, but you're probably looking at about a carat. So it's not going to be necessarily the match, but it will look fantastic with that ring. These are probably all cut from the same rough. So you notice you got that beautiful, rich purple color with almost like the little hues of maybe little hues of like orangey flashes in there, or sort of these really bright red and pink flashes. It's just a gorgeous gemstone. This one, really cool though, it's got a halo of sapphires, pink sapphires. Really vibrant too. These are like fuchsia pink, like hot pink. So that's really going to, and you notice these little embers in here, little pink embers, and kind of a little bit of orangey, what I'm calling orangey hue. But the pink embers that you're going to see in there is really going to draw out those with those really hot pink sapphires. I love the scalloped edging. That almost acts as a secondary halo there, right? And then you got this, of course, third, which is technically just the second halo here of white diamonds. Nice scalloped edge there too, which is very, very nice. Kind of reminiscent of a lot of the pieces that we saw that Madani did. That's a very designer, high-end luxury designer trend now. To have that nice scalloped edging definitely adds class, elegance, and sophistication to the whole jam. And that's just a beautiful pendant. It's the ideal size. It's going to be about an inch from bail to bottom, maybe just a hair shy from bail to base, as my buddy Lauren has I think improved upon my bail to bottom line, but bail to base we'll call it then. I wonder if Lauren's mom or grandmother are watching today. They tend to watch some of these. Or is she on today? I wonder. Is she on the TV side of things? I think her and I have a show coming up, so I'm looking forward to it. Maybe an overnight that we're doing together or something like that. And a daytime. Just shy of an inch from bail to bottom. Now, this will or will not be coming with the chain. You're looking at a carat 35, just a FYI. Carat 35 on the center stone. It looks a lot larger because it's amplified by that beautiful double halo. But just a gorgeous piece. I love how they did the pink sapphires too up in the bail. Can we scroll up to the top, good sir? It's about half a carat of pink sapphires too. Just an FYI. This is a doorbuster deal. It's going to say sold out, folks. Let us see. Well, we had 3 this morning. It's going to say sold out. We probably got the 1 left. Most of what you're going to see today is last in stock. I'm going to start pointing that out when I first get on them, because I know a lot of people out there. Well, everything's sold out before I can get to it. I gotta assume we may have 1 left, unless somebody really crafty has called the personal shopper. Because again, I'm going to tell you guys, I know we have people that are coming in and out, so I'm just going to repeat it again. There's a number that we're going to ask you to call when it does say sold out. Because this one I didn't look to see if it said sold out to begin with, but I imagine it was not. Because these have been held for us today. Now they did drop it to a $12.99. I'm going to move quickly just because if it is sold out, I don't want to waste any more airtime on it. But that is a dreamy, dreamy piece. And yes, it will be coming with the 10-inch, or not the 10-inch, but the 20-inch 10 karat gold. Is that? That's not. I'm just making sure real quick. So it was 10 karat yellow gold and 20 inches. Yeah, so that's not a vermeil chain. That's coming with the chain. The doorbuster price on this is $12.99. No wonder it's sold out. Because, folks, that's a chain. That's a nice thick chain, too. 20 inches. It's got a big spring-loaded clasp, but that's a nice chain. That's a chain that the retail level you're probably looking at about a $999. And once you take the Live 25 code off that $12.99, you're going to get $250 plus another $75. It's going to be $325. You're going to get this for about the cost of what you would pay at the retail level for just that chain, about $950, $975, something like that. That is a wild opportunity. It's like you're getting the pendant for free and one of the rarest garnets in the world. C'est fantastique. Good deal. But they may or may not be sold out. Try this number. You can call the personal shopper. They'll have access to this one, which is checked out, unless somebody's already snatched it up. But congratulations to the at least 2 or 3 of you who have taken advantage of that, because that is a beauty. But there might be a 4th one, and that might be the one that's checked out. Hopefully, if you want to grab that. But you got to be quick on it. That was shop 7? 6. Shop 6. Shop 6. I should say a little note. I meant to say this earlier because I kind of spied it with my little eye. We didn't go straight to it just because they weren't set up next to each other. It's no big deal. But we do have the matching Maripino Morganite to go with that pendant. And we'll get to that in a little bit. And I'll, of course, bring out the pendant whenever we do get to that. But first, folks, I want to tell you a little something about opals. Well, you get a phenomena gemstone, right? You get something that has what we call play of color. Now, in the world of opals, there are Ethiopian opals. There's, the most what we hear about is going to be Ethiopian opals. Of course, you've got some Mexican opals, some fire opal. You got some really nice jelly opal material from the Mexico region and Brazil as well. And I think now has some really fantastic sort of fire opals with some deep crimsons in them. But in the world of opals, some of the most expensive and record-breaking, and I've had an opportunity to sell a lot of them, are Australian opals, in particular Lightning Ridge, Cooper Pedy, and most of that stuff is all those mines are done, right? They may still there may still be a little something going on, but for the most part, all the best stuff is spoken for. Now, what we have here very much looks to me like a lot of those opals that I used to sell at my former network, which were a lot of times in estate pieces, because that was about the only way you could get them, unless Mark, the opal hunter gentleman that used to work with us and do shows with us there, he would occasionally get his hands on some really, really rare material. He knew a lot of the collectors, of course, was from Australia. But this material, this is the Elysian opal. It looks like the I'm assuming it's like the Boulder opal. It's a triplet though, and it very much looks like the Lightning Ridge sort of gray opals, a lot of black opals. Now, a triplet, what are we talking about here? Because this is, I believe can we scroll down? I just want to double check because I don't want to mislead anybody. It's a Boulder opal, I'm almost certain. And when you have a Boulder opal, you're going to have ironstone, which is going to be the backing of it. Let me do. Yeah, I think that's going to be the case. And then what they'll do is you'll have just a face of opal, but because that's a very porous material and it can very easily be damaged, fairly low on the most hardest scale. You're talking about something, 5 to 6. It's not terribly low, but so what they'll do is they'll put a little piece of quartz, just sort of almost like a little cover over that. Of course, you'll have the ironstone behind it when we talk about the Boulder opal. And so it technically is an assembled piece, but what you're getting with this and all that play of color, that's all the legit material. And look at that color. Is that just next level or what? Now, we're used to seeing a lot of the Ethiopian opal here in modern times and recent times, and those are beautiful too, don't get me wrong. But when you get those reds, just the play of color is extraordinary, right? Because they don't hide or shy away, much like the the Ethiopian opal will tend to, and to a certain degree, white crystal, white Australian opal as well. Some want to shy away whenever you have multiple light sources, but this one cannot be denied. It is absolutely stunning. And folks, that's triple A quality in terms of the color, just because that is so deep. I would venture to say, if this was not in 10 karat gold, because our system puts a stop on it, unless you're you got to be at least in, I think, 14 karat in many cases, or maybe 18 karat or platinum for our system to allow it to be classified as quad A. But I would venture to say, with this kind of color, this amazing play of color, it to me looks like a Lightning Ridge opal that I would have sold, just in terms of from a look standpoint, mind you. But this is very valuable, I will say that. But it looks like a Lightning Ridge opal that would sell for probably in the 10, maybe even 20,000 range, because of that kind of play of color. So that is not a synthetic. I want you to understand that when we say triplet. And I'm glad it's triplet, because it's going to have that durability with the quartz. Quartz is about an 8 on the most hardest scale. So you've got that thin layer of quartz over it. But look at that play of color. It's amazing. Now, this is all in 10 karat gold, and you got to have a lot of gold to do this one, because, folks, that's just such a big stone. So you've got a cocktail ring, relatively low profile. Gentlemen, if you wanted to grab this just for that center stone and put it in a gents ring, I wouldn't be mad at that either. But you could probably trade in, maybe upgrade a little bit. You'd have to pay a little bit extra, because the gents ring is going to be a little bit more gold, obviously. But you could probably trade in the mounting it's currently in just for that center stone. That would be a killer gents ring too. Now, we're doing this not for $10,000 or $8,000, and those Boulder opals have gotten wildly expensive. Wildly expensive. I remember when they were pretty affordable, but they were always beautiful. But just because there's so little of this material left, folks, you're getting something very, very special here. We're doing this for $18.99. $18.99. You're going to take 25% off of that $18.99. You will get this. Oops. You'll be getting this for less than $1,500. $1,424 is your final price after you use the Live 25 code. Now, we had 7 of these to start out with. I presume we have much less now, but it won't be shown as sold out online just yet. 6 karat 22 though, just an FYI. 6 karat 22. Now you do have some diamonds there as well. You got 8 points and then another, let's see, 8 points. Scroll down just a little bit further, my friend. So we got the 8 points. Shauna, I'm seeing the that you could have modeled. What were we talking? Okay, let's see. Where were we yesterday when we needed you? Oh, Lauren had a man's button-up shirt. Did she? Was that from the Hunter line? I guess maybe. Okay, I'm sorry. I missed the line. I guess I need to cut your hair off. Yeah. So where were we at yesterday? Yeah. Where was I? Oh, I was on the TV side of things yesterday. But I should come in early, and modeled that T-shirt for her. Why didn't you, DJ? Well, I guess it was Eliason yesterday. Mm-hmm. Yeah. He should have busted it out, but maybe it might have been too big for him.
Maybe.
All right, folks. Yeah, you've got 9 points in the diamonds. Again, all 10 karat gold. So yeah, just not the most in diamonds, but a very nice little touch though to have those diamonds on the side. Very, very cool, folks. You're getting it for $14.24. That's an amazing value. That's a lot of gold. Nice finished under gallery. I think this. Yep. This is definitely closed out material, folks. Take advantage of that. That is wild. We have it in a 7, 8, and a 9, and it shows that those are still available. So I cannot say enough about that particular material, folks. Look at that. That is not synthetic. That is. Look, it's a triplet, but that opal, that is extraordinary. Now, they're not all going to be the exact same, but yours will approximate that. If for whatever reason you get yours home and you're unhappy with it, and the one that we showed happened to be better, now we don't get to pick. We don't get to go into a vault and hand pick. They're randomly picked because we want to show you just, what you're going to get. But opals are going to be just a hair. They're all going to have their own little fingerprint, right? So just be mindful of that. You're not going to see the exact same patterning here. Just as you're not seeing the exact same patterning on this one as you are on this one, but it will approximate. It may be slightly better, maybe slightly not quite as good, but it's going to be fire. It's going to be fire, no doubt. And if not, you have the 30-day inspection period. So send it back if you're not happy with it, but I think this is going to be one of the best purchases you can make in terms of opals. Also, October's right around the corner. It's your October birthstone, okay? We're going to move on just because I'm getting a little bit behind. But that one we only have or had 7 in, and we do have the various sizes. So take advantage of it, folks. Very, very beautiful stuff. That's something we don't see every day. I've seen very few of these in that size. I know we had a couple about 3 or 4 months ago. They sold out like that. This one, if there's still 6 of these or 7 of these, when this show is over with, I'm going to ask for it on a show next week. Because there's enough money in that where we could use it on the TV side of things. So that's going to be gone in a week, one way or the other. But I encourage you to take advantage of it. It's so beautiful, so cool, and so rare to see. Okay? It's going to come with your Luxoro and what have you. But 6 karat 40, you'll have all that information too. All right? So that was shop 7 just then?
That was 7, yes.
Okay. Now, apatite. Let's talk about it. Apatite is very, very abundant. It is in our teeth. It is in our bones. It is pretty abundant material. Now, when we talk about gem quality apatite and we talk about colors of apatite, now we're getting into rarity. Now we're getting into really cool exclusivity stuff. And when we talk about one that is this massive, well, I don't even know how to price this because I don't see a ton of apatite gemstones, gem quality apatite at the retail level. We're one of the few companies out there that is getting this amazing material. Now, this is going to be a yellow apatite. It's got a little bit of almost like it's got secondary colors, I would say, in sort of a little secondary green. So, like, I'd call it a greenish yellow, but it's just beautiful. It almost looks reminds me very much of reminiscent of a steen, although you're not seeing quite the bit of pleocroicism that you see from a sphene, what we call a Christmas tree gemstone, but that has beautiful vibrancy, big stone, 11 karat 70, 11 karat 70 in that one. That's a massive. That's probably one of the largest apatites we've ever had in any color. I mean, you just don't see it like in this size. So it's amazing that we were able to get these. That's a 16 by 12, 11 karat 60. You've also got 10 points in your diamonds. Those are going to be channel set down the shank on either side. Just a beautiful piece here. 10 karat yellow gold. Of course, yellow gold looks fantastic with a yellow gemstone. Can't go wrong there. Absolutely beautiful. Very durable, everyday wearable. In terms of hardness, you want to be a little bit mindful of this when you're talking about a 5.5 on the most hardness scale when it comes to apatite. But man, to get one that size with that kind of vibrancy, color, cut, and clarity and carat weight is quite remarkable. That's something you don't see every day. So if you're a gemstone collector and you're in particular, you're a big fan of, like, say, yellow sapphires, you're a big fan of the yellow sphenes, this is going to be right up your alley. It's very much, I'd say, kind of a citrine meets a prasiolite, but definitely far more rare than quartz is. Now, apatite, again, very, very abundant, maybe even the second most abundant material in terms of, like, quartz is probably the most abundant in terms of gemstone, but this kind of, the colors of apatite, that's something very, very rare to see. And this size and gem quality, that's really special. We're doing this for $16.99. Big cocktail ring. Definitely a conversation piece. Definitely a collectible piece. Definitely something that you won't be seeing at a number of your retailers. Like, if you wear this out, your friends will have no idea what gemstone that is. They're going to be like, what they'll guess. They'll probably go down a laundry list of different gemstones that it could possibly be before they get to apatite, if they ever even get there. That's the kind of rarity. That's kind of the exclusivity we're talking about when we're talking about a big, beautiful, collectible piece like that. All right, nearly 12 carats. 12 carats. Now, we've seen a lot of the blue apatite, but this is something we don't see every day, especially not in this kind of size. So I'm really enamored with that. $16.99 is your price, and then you're going to get that code LIVE25. You're going to get it for $12.74. That's a lot of 10 karat yellow gold too, friends. That's a lot of, and with diamonds too, by the way. So you got the double fleur-de-lis at the north and south. So just a well architected ring, elegantly simplistic, nothing too wild going on here. I like the fact that you do have the double channels though. I think that adds a definite bit of sophistication and class. Obviously, sort of a difficult in terms of labor work. It's for a lapidary to have to sort of set those is quite laborious. So you've got a really nice bit of labor probably costs in this one, and it's just beautiful. And when you have a stone that size, you don't really need too much more. But I do like the fact that they did do those two rows. They're ever so subtle off to the side. Okay, double fleur-de-lis, nice touch there as well. Big basket style mounting, lots of gold there. All right, folks, you're getting it for $12.74. You have a budget pay on that, probably 5 budget pays. So divide 5 into $12.74, and that's what your initial payment would be on that one. So it's probably gonna be a little over, or right around 300 and some change. Yep, about 320, something thereabouts for budget pay. Not too shabby, or maybe a little less. Yeah. Big, beautiful stone. How many of those do we have? I think we have enough of those to go around. I'm hoping. Now I'm going to show you. We're going to go to the next one after that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because we've got about the same amount in each of these, so about 14 in each, a little over a dozen. But this next one I'm going to show you is a little bit different style. But I think if you're loving this one, you could potentially love this one. So it's going to be one of those ones where I think you're going to want to make a decision. You can go ahead and grab them both too. But this next one's not quite as large on the center stone as this one is, but you do, and they are clearly cut from the same rough. But you do have a little bit larger in terms of the presentation of the mounting. You got sort of an Art Deco style mounting here with some channel sets, some vertically channel set. So I really like that mounting a lot. You're still getting a big, bold look on this next one. That was 8, so this one's going to be shop 8. Okay, just so we're clear. And you know what? I didn't do this at the beginning or at the halfway mark. I'm going to go ahead and do a quick reset before I get into this shop 9 here. So there's 8 and 9. Just kind of show them to you side by side. But if you're watching at home, I know a lot of people coming in and out throughout the show. We're way into hour 2 here. So let's tell you how to go about getting one of these items. When I say shop 8, or in this case, shop 9. So let's just say you love this ring. Let's say you love this one. You can call the personal shopper, or you can just punch in the comment section here and put shop 8 or shop 9. The item before that was the shop, that opal was shop 7. Okay? You click on that, it should redirect you to the website, unless you're watching on TikTok. If you're watching on TikTok, what's going to happen, so for YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, you guys click on that, it'll take you directly to the website, unless I specify otherwise to call the personal shopper, which is only a case where if it's sold out, if you have any issues with the Live25 code, you always call the personal shopper. That number is 888-835-2237, 888-835-2237. But for our TikTok friends, what you're going to get is producer here, DJ, is going to send you a SKU number. In the case of this one, it will be 806-5710, for example. And he'll just, but you would put shop whatever on TikTok, so same as everybody else. He's just going to send you back the comment, which will have that SKU number. It's about a 7-digit number. You'll copy that and go to shoplc.com, where there'll be a little search bar right at the top. As soon as you get to the website, you just put it in there, and that will redirect you. So it's a little bit more hoops, but not that many to jump through for our TikTok friends, and we do appreciate all of you out there. Also, if you would please sort of do your, the whatever's on the TikTok, if you would. For some reason, I was told that if you actually say that they'll, I don't want them to like block us or something. If you would, please share us with whomever you could. Have you heard that, DJ? That you're not allowed, that certain social media platforms will sort of, they frown upon.
Yeah.
So what's the protocol there?
I'm not.
To tap dance around it?
Yeah, I guess so.
Do you guys like the show? Yeah, you see what I'm saying? So yeah, if you would do that helps us spread the word. So do that however you can do that on your various platforms. That would be very helpful. I would appreciate that. If you have any questions, as always, you could just put a question in the comments section. And we'll try to get it answered. DJ's the first line of defense. I'll try to read these as much as I can. We're here for you. And if I go too fast, too slow on something, you want me to flash something in, for example, these two, maybe you're considering the two, you just want to see them side by side, I'm more than happy to do that if time permits. So, that said, that's the house cleaning kind of side of things. This is going to be the Luxor. Again, this one's going to be in the 10 karat gold as well. This is going to be 6 karat 90 total weight. It's going to include some G to H diamonds. So you got near colors, blinding white diamonds in those nice baguettes. So it's a smaller center stone here for sure, but you do have a really cool sort of Art Deco mounting. So it's just, what is your jam? Do you like more of the elegant simplicity of that just massive center stone versus one that's going to be about maybe half the size? Still a very large stone here. We're probably still looking at well over 6 carats plus on the center stone. And then you've got a couple rows that sort of step down. I really like this mounting though too. That looks really cool. Like the symmetry of it. I think this is just a beautiful gemstone as well. Just like the other one is. But this one we're doing, you're not going to believe this, $999. Now this is a mounting, I can tell you right now. In 10 karat gold with those diamonds, both channels set there, sort of compression held. That is a mounting that's worth well over $999. Now, here's the great news. You're going to get it for $750 because you're going to take 25% off the $999. Let's just round that up to $1,000. So $1,000 minus 25%, $750 is your price for that with diamonds. Those are earth mine diamonds as well. In 10 karat gold, not vermeil, in 10 karat gold, $750. If this was in vermeil, that would be a good deal. Because that is a very, very cool and valuable gemstone. Very rare and exotic. Beautiful. Yellow apatite. Little hints, slight hints of green, little slight hints of sort of a little bit of lime green in there, just a hair. But it's so fresh and it's like such a beautiful, almost summery color, I think. And of course, they say those golden colors, very, very nice, said to attract, sort of abundance and I don't know, but couldn't wait. And it's absolutely gorgeous. The clarity on that one, big benchmarks on that one in terms of the carat weight, about 6 carats plus. Amazing opportunity. So those are going to be our 2 yellow apatites we have in. We have about, again, a little over a dozen of each of those, or had this morning. But this is our most affordable item we've shown today, and it is a stunner. That is a stunner. It's a good deal just for the mounting. All right, I'm going to show it to you on my finger. Here, let me show you this other one too while we're at it. So there you go. So this was 8, the big daddy there. And then that one was 9. But there they are side by side, if you're considering those to help you make your decision. It's really just a matter of preference. Do you like the larger center stone, or are you more of the mounting and all that goes along with that? They're both super cool. No bad decision, only indecision. All right, congratulations. Those of you who take advantage of those, we do have it in several sizes, so you'll be able to see those on the website. DJ, question for you. With the 10 karat now, I know with the 14 a lot of times we're doing the free ring sizing. Are you up on what we're doing, or if we're doing that with the 10s?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
I assume we would, but I'm not sure.
Okay, well, yeah, I don't want to say for sure. I don't want to mislead anybody. Okay, I'd rather under promise and over deliver. So that being said, we're going to move on to shop 10, and I got to take a look here. How are we doing? Because we got to get to this. The emerald, the piece de resistance. We're at 10. We got a total of 20. Do we have everything today? I think we do.
You should, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, I
cool.
see everything out there, yeah.
Only thing I'm not seeing is the Morganite ring. Where does that one fall in? Do you see it?
Which number is that one?
I don't know, but it's up here. It's the matching ring to go with the pendant was, remember, the number 3. Pendant was shop 3, but I'm not seeing the ring, that cool ring that goes with it.
Oh, yeah, that's weird. Oh.
Isn't that weird? Yeah. See if you can do a little behind the scenes. See if you can figure that out if you don't mind. Because I do want to show that matching ring if we can, if it's still available. I mean, obviously we've got the one available. All right, folks. Now, if you love that pendant or that ring, we do have a matching pendant. Now, the pendant is going to be for this particular ring, so you will get a bundling opportunity on that. I imagine if you were to call the personal shopper, they would do. They would probably try to give you some sort of bundle if you wanted to grab the big one, the big center stone, and do that with that. I can't necessarily say 100% if they would do that because they're not necessarily the exact match, but I can tell you will get a 10% discount if you get these two. Now, if it's not available to you on the website, this one's going to be shop 10. Remember this was shop 9. This is going to be shop 10. It is the companion piece. Basically going to be about half the diamonds, right? Because you've got about half of that, and not quite as much in the gold, but here's the good news. You are going to be getting that 10-karat gold chain coming along for the ride. So you got a nice big look on this one, nice big center stone there, about 550, so a little bit smaller in terms of the total carat weight. This one's going to be about a 5-carat, I'd say probably 5 carats just about on that center stone. Not quite as large as the other one, but they look virtually kind of the similar profile, right? Maybe minus about 50 points or so. So not quite the size on the center, but I imagine they are roughly the same size center stone, give or take a little bit. And this is definitely meant to go together. You got a nice double fleur-de-lis on either side of that. Nice basket style mounting. Pretty big bail there too, but it is coming with the chain. We're doing this for $799. That means you will get this for $599 after you use the code LIVE25. You have a $160 budget pay on this one, which means you'll have so minus 40, $120 budget pay. $120. Now, if you get the bundle, if you grab that ring and that, imagine, can we scroll down just to see if it's going to be available on the actual website there? Yeah, it is. Okay, cool. And we don't have the earrings, do we, by chance? Okay. But there's earrings there, too. You might want to call the personal shopper and see if you can grab the matching earrings to go with it, too. That'll give you an additional 15% off. They're marked down pretty low, too. Their earrings are only $449. Maybe we can get them added to the show, but either way, you can grab those if they're available. Pendant, in terms of that Il Pendante, we do have, we had at least about 11 of those. Okay, about 11 of those to go around. So not quite as many as we had in the ring. But what I'm going to suggest is if you got the other ring, definitely go ahead and grab this pendant because those look beautiful together. They're both in 10 karat and they're both oval, so they're going to sync up really well. I would just say call a personal shopper. I'm going to move on just because I don't want to run out of time, and we only got about 30 minutes left. I want to try to get everything, folks. It's not no disrespect to any of the pieces. I've got to speed it up a little bit. I just yap a little too much sometimes and go off on a little tangent. And I get excited about this stuff because this is so cool. These gemstones that we're working with today, they are so collectible, so cool. And the next one I'm going to show you is no different. Gosh, it deserves the time. They all deserve tons of time. Especially now that we're getting towards the end. We got some of these pieces de resistance coming up. There's not been a bad one we've shown yet today, though. I'm loving all these. This is Sleeping Beauty turquoise. This has beautiful trillion cut. Look like shields. protecting that round cushion on either side of beautiful, just really what look like Podparasha sapphires. They're pink tourmalines, but they've got this orangey pink to them. Look at that, folks. You guys see what I'm talking about? And the only reason I say that is because I know it's fresh on the brain because we just had that piece that was the Morganite that was surrounded by the Podparasha sapphire and that pendant that we showed you. I think it was shop 3, but also because we had a bunch of killer Podparasha sapphires on me and Angie's show last night, and these look very much like those. So this is tourmaline. This is a rare color to see. I'm going to go out on a limb and say this. I'm seeing hints of orange in these pink tourmalines. Those look. Tell me those don't. I don't know if you guys are going to be able to see this. And this doesn't. I don't feel like that looks more pink in the picture, but I'm going to try to let you guys get a look at this because this is so cool. They do look like Podparasha. They're obviously more on the pink side, but I feel like they got a little hint of orange in there, which just I think makes them all the more valuable because again, that's a very difficult color to come by in nature. So I'm just very bullish on the side stones. Now let's talk about the center stone. The center stone, Sleeping Beauty. Yes, we've spoiled you rotten here at Shop LC with Sleeping Beauty because we've been able to get it for so many years with our connections, with some of the rough that our company in particular stockpiled, and then with the connections that we had of people, knowing people in the business. It's a relatively small, close-knit community when we talk about the gym world, but all our connections that we have through our parent company, which has been in business for over 40 years, we've really been able to bring you some of these gemstones for a very, very long time, well after the mine is closed. Things like the pink diamonds that we were just talking about, right? You're going to see those sort of, they're tapering. You're going to see less and less and less and less. Ditto that with Sleeping Beauty. In fact, Sleeping Beauty from our vendors is getting wildly expensive. It's in its last throes of us being able to have the days of us being able to bring you a big, sort of cocktail ring like this. They're getting slim to none. We had one last night on our show. It sold out. It sold out so well that we brought it up in the last 5 minutes. It was about a similar size to this. It was a big pear shape. It was actually maybe a little bit larger, but it was massive. But it was also in, I think it was in the Vermeil, and we were doing it for I want to say like $700 or $800, $600 when all the dust settled, and we did it in the last. I think we had 3 minutes left in the show. We mowed through. We had about maybe 10 or 12 of those, and we sold through about 8 of them in the last 5 minutes of our show. And then the remainder of them sold on Becky's show, like before it even started. It was wild. So people understand. I think they're starting to get a sense. So when I say that we only have, and could you scroll this is a 7-carat 85, mind you. You got 75 points in the tourmaline. So those are massive 35 plus point tourmalines too. Those are about the size of your average engagement ring size diamond just on those trillions. Absolutely gorgeous. And I think they have the look of Podparasha because I feel like there's a little orangey pink going on there. But we're talking about, sweet. Okay. We have, or had, this as of this morning, we had 13 of these. I guarantee you there is nowhere near 13 of these at this moment. That is good quality Robin's Egg Blue Sleeping Beauty Turquoise, folks. This is not imitation. This is not dyed halite. Now, there's anything wrong with those. We sell a lot of that on 10 and under. Stuff that looks like it's dyed to look like Sleeping Beauty, or maybe even a dyed resin. This is not that. This is the real deal from the Sleeping Beauty mine, which is mined out, which has been shuttered since 2012, 2013, somewhere thereabouts, in Globe, Arizona. This material is getting more and more scarce, especially those big pieces. And that color, folks, we don't have this down in our notes as any kind of, well, maybe you'll see, it might be on here, as any kind of like AAA in terms of color. I disagree wholeheartedly. They're calling this AA. I disagree. That's just my opinion. I disagree vehemently because that color, that is deep rich robin's egg blue. I think that's at least AAA. But, in the interest of under-promising and over-delivering, I'm going to go along with their AA assessment. But in my personal opinion, no way, Jose. That, to me, look at that color. Look at how deep and rich that robin's egg blue is. That, to me, looks like AAA. So that's my personal opinion. I'll go with the 2A just because I'd rather under-promise and over-deliver. You get it home either way, you can always return it. But know that this ring, this material, it's about to go up big time. All right? It's about to go up big time. You've got vendors that formerly sold us this material wanting it back, saying, we'll buy it back from you. You got some in inventory, we'll buy it back from you. That says a lot. So just be mindful. Probably the last time you're going to see this anywhere near what we have it at, which is wild, $12.99. $12.99. You're going to get this below $1,000, folks. This is in gold. The one we had last night was in vermeil, and it was like $700 and something. Now it was a bigger center stone, mind you, and it did have a little bit. I think it had a little bit of Paraiba in the halo, the primary halo, but it was about, I don't know, it was probably double the size of the center stone. I guess that's where the dollars came in. But man, folks, to be able to get this for under $1,000 in gold, with those amazing collectible, those are top gem quality pink tourmalines there. Super collectible. Pink tourmalines can get as expensive, if not more expensive sometimes than pink sapphires. So $12.99 times 0.75 after you use the code LIVE25, you're going to get this for $974. $974, you have 5 budget pays of $260. That $260 is going to get to down around $200 and maybe a dollar or two with the code LIVE25, maybe a little bit less. Divided by 5. 974 divided by 5. $194 gets that home. Might be one of the best deals. We've had some great deals in the show. That might be one of the best deals of the show. That is fantastic, folks. We had 12 of them or 13 of them this morning. I don't think it's a stretch at all. Based on what happened last night at the end of our show, I don't think it's a stretch at all that those would be sold out by the end of this presentation, based on what I saw last night on the TV side of things. So just be mindful of that. If you don't love it, fine. If you're not a collector, fine. Then just sit tight. But I'm telling you right now, that gemstone is important, and that gemstone is going bye-bye. You already don't see it at the retail level, and if you do, you see it maybe in a super high end, or maybe like a place that sells specialty items or estate items, and that's going to be the future. You can get a brand new item here still, but we're hanging on by a thread, folks. Well, you're going to see the last of a lot of the Sleeping Beauty. That's why it's very important. This necklace here, the Sleeping Beauty necklace, that is also going to be one of the best values of the show. But that one's killer, folks. That's a Shop 11. Shop 11. Take advantage of that one, folks. You'll thank me later. If nothing more than just for the gold, because you're getting it for under $1,000. If nothing else, look at those 37 and a half point, absolutely gorgeous. The color, the clarity on those collectible trillion cut pink tourmalines is spectacular. And surprisingly, I wouldn't think the pink gemstones with this. It works so beautifully. They are so complementary to one another, and I love how it sort of just ramps up because of the way they've set those. It's just like very cool piece. Luxoro, solid gold, can't go wrong, folks. That is a beauty. We're gonna move on, but those are probably gonna sell out. And there was 13, but I imagine there's probably like 5 of them now, and we got a lot of collectors out there that have been watching for stuff like that, and I think that was part of what last night was all about too. But no, because I saw just different. They were all different names. Come to think of it, so maybe not. But the word is out. Sleeping Beauty's pretty much we're not going to be able to do it as affordable. We've spoiled you, Rod, and I like doing that. We like doing that, and we've been giving you the best prices ever on stuff that that nobody even has access to. ergo this bad boy. Now this is Quad A. Why we have this on clearance, I will never understand, because these sell like crazy even before word got out. Now this is going to be 18 inches, so it's going to be not necessarily for me because I have a 17-inch neck, so it's going to be like a choker on me. But gentlemen, if you can rock an 18 or shoplc.com, get an extender. Now these are slightly graduated, which I usually wouldn't recommend to the guys out there, but it's ever so subtle. I mean, it's not like a goes down to itty bitty teeny tiny. So you've got nice rounds. It just kind of draws the eye to the thicker part. So if you were to get maybe just like a 4-inch extender, now guys, we're in, because I would totally rock something like this. I mean, it's just kind of a cool look. You know, nice summertime vibe, just let it kind of peek-a-boo out from underneath the shirt. Ladies, absolutely you're going to look beautiful in this. Everybody looks great in turquoise. Every skin tone looks fantastic in turquoise. That's why it's one of the most popular gemstones of all time. I mean, everybody loves blue. Everybody loves green. This is you know, greenish blue. That's what turquoise kind of is. And it's just one of the most beautiful gemstones, one of the most beloved gemstones the world over. Oh, and this is a clearance item that should never, ever, ever be below $3,000, because we're talking here about 110 carats. 110 carats. It's got a platinum class, so you're talking about from our well, they're calling it Ileana. What? Oh, I'm confused. Oh, that's for the emerald. Okay. Now we're back. So we just got the emerald, the Rhapsody. Okay, so that's right. And I'm just going to swap out this. Wait. No, that's right. I'm losing my mind. Okay. Suffice to say, this is going to come in the very, very nice Rhapsody box and all that. So you're going to get everything to the nines. But that is a platinum class. Now you put the best in the best. When you get a Rhapsody piece, you know you're getting one of the best gemstones. Ditto that with Ileana, which unfortunately we're scaling back on that because the price of gold's gone so haywire. But hey, now the price of platinum is going haywire as well. So you're seeing all that go on, folks. But there's only 2 of them. There was only 2 of them. Hopefully you can still get the 2. There might be 3 because I'm assuming maybe this one checked out. But I got to tell you, this is probably going to go bye-bye very, very quickly. If you love this is going to be shop 12. It's a clearance item. Why we put this on or kept this on clearance, I'll never understand. We don't need to make room that bad, because this is something it's high in demand. $18.69 is what we're doing this for. Keep in mind, you're going to knock off like $400 and some change of that, so you're going to get this below $1,500. Below $1,500 for 110 carats, beautifully matched and mated. They're calling this Quad A. I agree, which is why I said that I disagreed that was double A. I think that's closer to triple, but that's just my opinion. So, but that is the best of the best in terms of the color. That is the straight up robin's egg blue. That is fantastic. Now, gentlemen, again, if you can squeeze it to 18, rock it. That's a good look. It'd be like that on me though, a little too tight, but that's why we have extenders. You can get a little extender for it. But ladies, this is going to work for most of the ladies out there, and there's only 3 of them. You must move quickly on this. It's ever so subtly graduated with the clasp. So probably most of the ladies, it's going to look somewhere right around in there. It's fantastic. A lot of carat weight. Quad A, best of the best in the color. Color didn't get much better than that, folks. I don't know why we put that on clearance. We can sell it for $3,000 easy, all day, every day. You're getting it right now for about less than $1,500. Amazing opportunity. Those are going to sell out. So I hope you take advantage of it. If you love it, if you love turquoise, who doesn't love turquoise? Or any if you can afford it, folks. But look, you know you're going to take that $1,400 and some change. Let's just round it up to $1,500. You're going to take 25, or let's see, 5 will go into that. That's going to be $300. You take 25% off of $300 using the code LIVE25, and now we're at what, $225. Gets that home on budget pay. $225. Go and get it praised. That would be my advice to you. All right, we're going to move on. That was shop 12. Shop 12. Here comes shop 13. And oh my gosh, is this a beauty? The blush tourmaline. We're doing the ring first. We have the matching pendant. So, Luxoro, what are we talking about here? We're talking about rose gold. We're talking about solid gold, not gold overlay. This is a doorbuster. We just got these in. We do have a decent amount, or had a decent amount of these as well. But when you get this blush tourmaline, folks, it's been about a year since we had a lot of the blush tourmaline that came in. This, very much in line with what I was just talking about. Blush tourmaline is basically going to give you that orangey pink. Orange and pink, much like, yes, much like a Paparasha color. Blush. What is blush? If not like, it's like an orangey pink, right? Absolutely gorgeous. One of the most difficult colors to come by in nature. Obviously red, very difficult. Yeah. We love blue. That's another one. Purple. But this combo, folks, this kind of clarity, this kind of size in that center stone, this is a total of 2 carat 80. Thanks, Wyatt. Hey. Appreciate it. It's grand, kid. You bother me. But big center stone there. All right, so you got $14.99 is the price on this. That's a doorbuster price, folks. You're not going to beat that with a stick, with a golf club, Captain Caveman's club either. That is amazing. Now, can we scroll down? I want to see what the center stone is on this one. 10 karat rose gold as well too. So I should say that's a very, very nice bit of gold in the mounting. You've also got the secondary halo of blush tourmaline. Those are big boys right there too. And then you've got this, I guess the secondary. No, this is the primary halo. Secondary halo of what look like cognac diamonds. I'm assuming they're going to call them champagne diamonds. But those are deep, rich diamonds too. Also, again, probably Argyle mine there. It's about 19 points in those alone. You got 2 carat 65 in the blush tourmalines. Could you scroll back up to the top though? I want to see if it gives me that center stone. It's not. Okay. So they're going to lead me to basically.
Well, it's an 8x6.
Yeah, it's an 8x6. So we're talking at least a full carat plus. I mean, that's probably closer to. Oh my gosh, that's probably closer to 2 carats. I'd probably say maybe just butting up to 2 carats on for an 8x6. That's a big boy. That's a rare gemstone, folks. That is super duper collectible on that center stone, and well over a carat. We just don't have it. I guess because they did it for such a low price, they didn't put it. I wish they would have given us that. But an 8x6 usually going to be probably at least a carat and a half. Carat and a half minimum, I can go out on a limb and say, on that center stone. Absolute beautiful color. Amazing color here. But the clarity, the cutting is sensational. You don't see a window to be found anywhere in that center stone. Rare. Tourmalines get wildly expensive. This color in tourmaline is next level. So we're calling it the blush tourmaline. To me, it very much is reminiscent of very much like what I was just discussing with you guys, which is that it very much reminds me of the Paparasha, of course, rarest of all of your sapphires. On this one as well, no treatments whatsoever. So that's kind of a remarkable thing. Most gemstones are going to be treated. The fact that this is just God, Mother Nature, that's impressive. I mean, obviously, fantastic cutting by the lapidary, but yeah. That's a killer deal. All right, folks, we're doing it for $14.99. You're going to take 25% off of that. We're running out of time. 25% off of that. I've got to go, but gosh, that's amazing. So you're going to get it for around, I don't know, just close to $1,000, $1,100, something like that. Use the code LIVE25. That one was Shop 13. Shop 13. Now, here comes the matching pendant. I'm not going to spend as much time on the pendant. Suffice to say that is the exact same profile. So give or take a couple points, we're talking about I'd say the exact same thing. So well over $1.50 on the center stone. Absolutely amazing. We'll match the price on that. The good news is you get that 10-karat rose gold chain with it as well. Of course, rose gold looks good with any pink or really any orange gemstone. And those are pinkish orange in that blush tourmaline. So the exact same profile. You get them both, and we're going to give you an additional 10% off of the bundling. They belong together. Why don't you let them live together? If you can afford it. Look, I get it. That's why we have budget pay as well. So if you can afford it, those are sensational and very, very, very collectible gemstones. Top gem, world class on both of those, if you ask me. Unbelievable center stones on those. $1.50 plus. Because those are 8x6s. And champagne diamonds, and all in gold, and you're getting the chain to come along for the ride. So it's going to be RTW, ready to wear out of the box. That is amazing. All right, so this is going to be shop 14, shop 13. And I hate to give it short shrift because, folks, I could spend probably 30 minutes on just these two alone. And the rarity and exclusivity of those and how fantastic that is, but the constraints of time. I got to get to that emerald. I got to get to all these other amazing. We got a pot parasha ring. I won't spend as much time if you ever figured it out on the morganite ring, just because we already did the pendant, so I can kind of glaze over that because it's basically the exact same profile, a little bit more in terms of the gold. It's probably going to be a little bit more in terms of price, but were you able to track that down?
Yeah, I was able to find it. Let me pop it in a second.
Okay. Okay, so let's move on though. Gosh, those blush tourmalines. Ladies, that's the one. That's the one. In terms of collectability, rareness, exclusivity, yeah, that's solid.
Well, actually, what the heck? It's not popping up.
You're not able to get it?
No, for some reason.
Okay, why don't we do this? Let's just try to just add that after the fact of the show. What we're talking about here, friends, if you just joined us, this is the matching ring. That's the Maripino Morganite. It's a big boy. Those of you that got that pendant that was number 3, good thing this is pot parasha sapphire. It's 9 on the Mohs hardness scale, so I can't hurt that. That's what I just had in my hands. Now, this was the ring. We're going to try to add that to the show. It's virtually the identical profile of that pendant, which we showed you, which was like, I think it was like shop 3. Okay, so just know that we're going to tack that on sometime after the show. But I will say we didn't have many. We only had 3 of the pendant. I think it was almost sold out, so we had 1. So what I will say is on the ring, we probably usually have maybe 1 or 2 more. So let's just work under the same assumption that the ring had about the same amount. And we'll get that all figured out behind the scenes. So just call the personal shopper and tell them that we're going to add that to the show, and they'll work it out with you. That number is 888-835-2237. Now, let's talk about London Blue Topaz. It's the most popular, or at least the most expensive of all the blue topaz, and blue topaz is one of the most popular gemstones in the world. Now, this is going to be AAA quality, so you've got deep, rich, dark color. That is fantastic. These are expensive at the retail level. We're doing this ring. This is going to be this is 10 karat white gold. It's in 10 karat white gold, elegantly simplistic, right? You got a big center stone there. It's going to be about 7 karat 25, so you get a nice cocktail ring size. I'm just going to kind of put this on my hand just to show you scale. I've got big hands, right? But upside down. So looks like a spade, but you get the point. A heart. Heart, very difficult cut too for a lapidary to do. So you're getting more expensive when you have to do all that, because you have to do the cleft, you have to round the edges. It gets very difficult, especially when it's done right. And this is done right. It's absolutely gorgeous. It's in white gold. White gold usually require an upgrade in price because of the alloys, the extra alloys that have to be added in that in terms of the noble metals and what have you. Folks, we're doing this for $749. You're basically going to get it for close to, $500, $749, because you use the code LIVE25 times 0.75, $561. $561 for that beautiful cocktail ring. Of course, heart, universal symbol of amor, love, right? Who doesn't love it? It's probably the second most iconic symbol of all time next to the cross, and it is universally known for love. Guys, you're in the doghouse, that might be a good one, because that color, I can tell you right now, I'm just going to fall in love with it. Very, very similar, in my opinion, to, I think it's a good sort of, not stunt double, but a cross between sort of the Lagoon tourmaline and Indicolite, which are two of the most expensive of all the tourmalines in terms of color. I feel like that's what you get when you get the topaz. And it's actually just as hard, if not harder, on the most hardest scales. The topaz is about an 8, about a 7.5 to an 8, whereas tourmaline is about a 7.5, I think. So you're talking about something durable. Now, there's an irradiation process that goes on with the London Blue Topaz, but it's one of the most beautiful, and it can be very, very expensive. So that opportunity is huge. Now, it's also going to come with an AGI third-party independent. It's coming with the appraisal. They've got it at, God, my eyesight's getting terrible. $1,900. $1,900, and that's conservative. So but you're getting it for $500 and some change. Amazing opportunity. That's coming along for the ride. That's about a $200-$300 value right there. That is shop 15. How many do we have? That one I think we have the most of, which is about a dozen. 14. So 14 of those, which means probably close to the neighborhood of 10. Get it while you can get it in the size that you need it, but that's nothing but 5-star reviews. 2 5-star reviews. That is shop 15. And I'm moving quick, not because of disrespect to that, because it's a beautiful gemstone and a beautiful ring, but because we're just about out of time and I've got so many more to get to. I'll do the ring, and then I can just quickly pop the pendant. So, but we also have this really, really gorgeous opal that we got to do to it, right? So we got what, 3 left?
Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4.
All right, show me what else. Oh, okay. All right, so let's go ahead and get to what I think is probably the piece de resistance. In other words, I usually have one of these in my shows that I think is probably the best value. It's probably one of the most expensive pieces. Not necessarily always. In this case, probably yes, because what we're talking about is one of the absolute finest in terms of color. It doesn't get any better than this. All right? When we talk about emeralds, Quad A is the pinnacle, okay? It's a grading system. It's a simplified grading system. Single A on up to Quad A. So single, double, triple. Triple, you're getting the top 5 to 10 percentile. When you're at Quad A, you're in the best of the best. You're at the top 1% in terms of color, the tone, the saturation, the hue. That is the color of emeralds that people pay a fortune for, that people pay $10,000, sometimes $20,000 for, per carat, depending on the carat weight. And folks, this is something truly, truly spectacular. Congratulations, Miss Billy, on that on that London Blue. That's amazing. Now, folks, this is going to be in platinum. Again, you put the best in the best. It's got a beautiful mounting. We're very limited on what we have here, though. That's the unfortunate thing. We had about 5 of these, which means we had probably 6 when the show began. Another thing that we sold last night, we had 6 of them. I told you about this in the beginning of the show. Next to that one, I would say this is probably one of the best emeralds other than what we have in our Chairman's Vault, which when you're talking Chairman's Vault, we're talking cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching. And I look forward to doing one of those shows with you guys. I'm going to break out some of the Chairman's Vaults on one of these for you one time. We'll do a really special one of these days because I'd very much like to have an opportunity to sell a lot, just exclusively that stuff. Now, even if it's something that everybody can afford, I can't afford them. But they're some of the most wildly affordable in terms of just a big, bold, and like the best of the best. But this, next to a Chairman's Vault, is probably one of the finest emeralds that you're going to see in our entire collection. We don't get as many emeralds as we do all the other precious gemstones, folks, in terms of like blue sapphires, rubies, and diamonds. So when you see a good emerald, a solid emerald like this, that's really top gem, world-class quality, you want to seize it. Because we're doing this not for $13,999. I think if you were to go to, like, say, the blue box store somewhere that had the exact same ring, they're just going to come in a cool blue box, ours is going to come in a cool black box, right? Ours probably has an LED. I don't know if theirs even has an LED. I think we put LEDs in ours now too, which really kind of puts a little spotlight on it. It's cool. But you're not going to wear a box, are you? You could. It'd look goofy. What you're going to wear is this, and that, folks, is the best of the best. Absolutely gorgeous. Now, the center stone, let's talk about it. You have what's called jade. That is the French word for garden. When we talk about emeralds, they're type 3 gemstone. They're expected to have inclusions. This is crystal clean for an emerald. All right? So that's nice. You do have some slight inclusions. In fact, it's nice to have just a little bit of haze, a little bit. But this, it is crystal clean. I mean, borderline to the point where you'd almost be like, that's one of the ways that you used to be able to tell. Now they got little fake inclusions in them with the artificial, with the lab created. But that was one of the ways you were always used to tell, because if the lab created, either you had one of the most expensive emeralds that money could buy if it had 0 inclusions, or you have a lab created. Okay, because usually the lab created traditionally didn't have any inclusions. But again, they're expected to have some mild. This one is not milky. That is just crystal clean. You've got definite vibrancy. You've got a nice glow to it, but you have deep saturation of color. So it really checks all the boxes. 9x7, that's almost 2 carats. It's a carat 83. Most assuredly, with a 9x7, that shows, and that's one of the cool things about emeralds, it shows like a 2 carat plus. Because in most gemstones, if we're talking about a 9x7, that's going to be about a 2 carat plus. But a carat 83 still very, very nice. Again, it shows very large. Surrounded by a nice halo of diamonds. Those are going to be, of course, the best of the best when it comes to diamonds. You're talking colorless, eye clean, and we will do free ring sizing. Now, we're not doing this for $13,000. We've got it at $36.99. There's like 5 of these to go around, which means maybe 6 if we count this one. And that was earlier this morning, ladies and gentlemen. We cannot keep emeralds in. We had 6 of what we had last night, and we sold out very, very quickly. Those were a little bit more expensive last night. I think we did those for, gosh, I can't remember. But this one will be very affordable too. So let's see, $36.99. You're going to use the code LIVE25, and you will get this. That's a big boy. 36 times 0.75. You're going to get this for $27.74. I think we did the one last night for $29.99 was the bottom on that one. So roughly the same price, a little bit less than the one we did last night, which was about the same size, if I recall correctly. It was about a carat 83. Now, it was an emerald cut, but that was about the main difference. So if any of the people are watching from last night, I hope you are, because we still had tons of callers calling in after the fact. If I showed this on TV during a primetime show like we did the other day, this will sell out. In fact, if there are any left, if there's more than probably 2 left, I'm going to ask for it on Friday.
Probably have time for about like 1 more item.
Okay. Now, if you love that, I'm going to say let's show this pendant, because I think the pendant's going to go beautifully. It's in 18 karat to Ileana, but I think the gemstone is top gem quality. Oh, by the way, they had that at $10,500. That's going to come along for the ride. All right, that was the third-party independent appraisal that we got from the AGI. They're not affiliated with us. We use them a lot, but they're very conservative typically. So they got it at $10,500 replacement cost. That's for us here, probably. So you'll get that as well. You can get that to your insurance company. If something ever happens to it, God forbid, you can be able to recoup that. So you'll have some instant equity on that one. Now, let's see. This one's going to be, so that was a Rhapsody. Now, this one, I'm going to go on a limb and say that, to me, looks like they were cut from the exact same rough. That to me they've got it at AAA. I disagree wholeheartedly, because I think that is quad A all day long. In fact, that is deep, rich color. This is going to be shop 17. So the last one was shop 16, the emerald ring. This is shop 17. We're doing it. I don't have a lot of time. We're right here, folks. We're doing that for $35.99. Now, let's get the center stone weight, because we had a carat 83 in the other. I think this would go beautifully with the other, even though that one's in platinum, but this is in 18 karat. Just to FYI. So you're talking the best of the best. 18 karat's actually more expensive than platinum right now. And I disagree with the grading, but it is what it is. That's quad A as far as I'm concerned. 9x7, so same size on the oval there. Carat 75 minimum. The other one was a carat 83 minimum. They're the exact same size. That is top gem, world class, any which way you cut it. The clarity, the color, the cut, all checks every single box. You got 40 points in diamonds. Those are going to be beautiful blinding white diamonds. G to H, SI, so they're going to be eye clean and near colorless at a bare minimum in that surrounding halo. I think they look fantastic together. We're doing it for $35.99, folks. You're going to get not the chain, so FYI, no chain, but you will get the certified appraisal that's going to come along for the ride, which is way off because it was done in 2023. Huh? This must have been like one that got lost in our inventory, I bet. Had to have. Yep. Oh, yeah, we've only got 3 of these to go around, folks. They're probably going to sell out. This was done in 2023. This appraisal, they've got it at $7,900. Gold has gone up just a little bit. 18 karat gold since 2023, you think? So I imagine if this was done today, we'd probably be looking at a $10,000 minimum at least from the same exact guy or gal, whoever it was. But that's coming along for the ride either way. And folks, that is a dreamy piece. I want to say thank you all so much. Apologies, I did not get to that pod paracha. I'm just going to flash them in, but can we tack them on to the end of the show?
Yeah, they're the end.
All right, so just honorable mentions because that opal is, oh my goodness. And that's with all the lights on it. You still see amazing play of color. You're going to love that opal. Look at this. They always show terribly. It is what it is. And that was pod paracha sapphire, folks. Those are brilliant trees, but that's really, really fantastic. Gentlemen, if we have that in a 10, I say go for it. It's a low band, wide, kind of a wide band, low profile, fits my criteria for a gents ring. I want to say thank you all very much. My name is Chris Whitley. Again, if you missed a part of this show, you missed some of the best of the best. I want you to call this number if you have any issues with any items that you attempted to purchase. Don't forget, we're going to try to tack that on somehow, some way. That was that big, beautiful Maripino Morganite that was such a killer deal on the pendant. I imagine that was close to the price, maybe just a hair more. But this is the number. Great job, DJ. We appreciate you. God bless you guys. And if you miss any part of this show, you can always go to shoplc.com and you can rewatch this. We're going to lock these prices in for 24 hours. Most of them are probably going to sell out because it was like 2 and 3, and half of them were sold out already whenever we finished the presentation. But thank you guys so much. I'm going to be on again on Friday for sure on that on the TV side of things at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time to 8 p.m. and then 11 p.m. to 2 a.m. Central Standard Time. I will see you guys then. God bless you. Cheers. Cool. All right. Good stuff, man. Good job. I'm going to do a quick, just a quick blurb.